Hi Hip Kit Club friends, this is Nikki Rowland, and today I am making a layout based using the May kit. So I had the main kit, the pocket life kit, the embellishment kit, and also the colour kit too. So I had all of the kits to play with, and I'm also using this sketch here for today's layout, and my challenge is also to include an interactive element. Well, I don't really do interactive elements, and I struggled and struggled and struggled. I've started this layout 4 times and I've swung from doing a tag to a little mini book on the page and folding out things and an opening window and all sorts, and eventually I just gave up and I settled on this little moving rainbow that you'll see. So what I have done is I have taken a piece of journaling card, 6x4 journaling card, and I have cut using my die cutter. That's a Big Shot, not my Silhouette, and I've cut out 2 circles, concentric circles, that will fit so that they go on this journaling card. So I've cut them out. Okay, so this is the back of the journaling card now, and I am applying foam pads, sticky fixes, all the way around the edge of this opening. So this is the outside piece, and then I have got a penny. It's actually a 5p coin because it was a bit smaller and worked better. And I'm going to put that in between the 2 pieces, so the 2 circles, and that is going to give me a little spinning coin that will go all the way around the circle, and it will also spin as well. So the spinning part is important. I have cut my journaling card. I've cut those 2 circles out of it, and then I'm taking another piece of 6x4 card, just a piece of white card, to go on the back of it. So it's literally the same size. I've just made it ever so slightly smaller. And you see how my penny will travel between the foam pads. So I just need to make sure that I have this right. They was getting stuck in a few places, so I just had to make sure that I moved those foam pads over a little bit so that this would work. So there is my first one, putting my 5p in, and now I'm taking the foam pads off of the other piece, and I'm going to put that in that aperture there. Okay, so you can see that. And now I have this penny that moves around the concentric circles. Okay, so the idea is that my rainbow is going to sit on that penny. I've just got adding a foam pad, and then I can move the rainbow around. However, I made a boo-boo at the beginning and put 3 foam pads on the penny, and therefore my rainbow was unable to spin. So I needed just to have 1 small foam pad, and therefore when I move the rainbow around the circle, the penny spins, and therefore my rainbow stays at the correct orientation each all the way around. Okay, so that is my interactive element for this layout. My goodness, it took me a long time to get there, but I'm very pleased with how it turns out. It's really cute, actually, the way that it moves. It's very, very cute. So whether I'll ever take it out of the page protector and move it around, I don't know, but it is cute the way that it does move around. So yeah, that's awesome. So there you go. I've fiddled with it a lot while I'm making this layout. So I wanted to make sure that if whatever position it was in, it didn't cover up the subject of my photo. So I just had to make sure that was okay. I'm adding on the phrase from the ephemera, out chasing rainbows, and I've put some silver thread underneath that as well, a little tangle of silver thread. So there you go, you can see how my rainbow moves there. I fiddle with it so much that one point it comes off. So yeah, these things happen, right? Anyway, so I am now putting my layout together. So I'm using the sketch, and instead of the large area of mixed media, I wanted to use some paper layers. So I've got those on first, but then I decided that I would also like to include some mixed media. Now, as this is a pattern paper background, which is not something I do that often, I put some white acrylic paint on the background first. This is basically to prime it so that it doesn't warp too much when I put my mixed media stuff on, so the wet stuff basically, so not too much water. So yeah, I'm just adding, right, you can see there I'm using the Lindy's in order to use some with the packaging technique basically. However, the Lindy's are so highly pigmented that I ended up creating this really dark, intense watercolor, which is not what I wanted. I wanted something light. So what I've done is I've added some white acrylic paint to that Lindy's that I made there, and made it a bit lighter. However, it's now a thick paint rather than a spray, so it hasn't spread around in the watercolor way quite like I would like it to. I'm just adding some flicks there, some splatters with a paintbrush and some more watered down paint, and it's okay. It doesn't look too bad. It's not quite the look I was aiming for, but actually in the end I end up covering practically all of it up anyway, so we won't worry too much about it. I'm just trying to smoosh out my background there a bit more, so make it appear a bit more like the regular normal packaging technique would look with a wet medium rather than a thicker paint. And I've added some powders directly to the background and sprayed water over them to make them spread. And then what I'm doing here with the blue, I was really careful with the blue because it is so very intense. I just added a tiny bit of powder to a piece of packaging and sprayed the water onto it, and then applied it using the packaging technique that way. So actually this turns out looking quite nice, but literally I do end up covering almost all of it up when I make my layout, so you'll see that a bit later on. But the blue over to the right hand side shows, and a small amount of it shows down to the bottom as well. And I did just want some of those flicks and splatters to show. I think it really adds to a layout. I think it's really nice the way that the flicks kind of add interest to a background. I don't do well with pattern paper backgrounds. I should stop doing them because I never really like what I create. Yeah, I just had to do my best, basically, do my best with this one. And I wasn't happy with the mixed media, I wasn't happy with the background, I wasn't happy with the shaker element, the interactive element. So basically I had a disaster making this layout, but it has come together eventually. I'm reasonably pleased with it. It's okay, it could be worse, right? It could be worse. Right, okay, so my background is dry now, and I'm just getting my paper layer stuck in place. I've distressed all of the edges, and I've torn that bottom paper as well. I really do love that striped paper. It's a really fabulous colour scheme. So I've just put that into place, and I've put that piece of gingham navy blue above it, and I've kept that piece of white card in place because I don't think I can actually make a layout without any white card. I think it just goes against the grain. I just can't cope. So I've put a piece of white card there. It just gives me a bit of white separation between all of the elements and my photos, so I think it really helps lift layout. I'm going to keep doing that one. Okay, so I'm just getting my main elements stuck in place there. So that's the 6x4 journaling card on the background with the interactive chasing rainbows, and a little journaling card there that has a rainbow on it, which goes obviously brilliantly with this photo and the ephemera. So I'm now just trying to make sure I can cluster up some embellishments over on the right hand corner without my rainbow being affected, the moving element, the interactive part being affected. So I just constantly aware of where the moving element goes, just to make sure that it will be able to move unhindered by all of the embellishments that I am putting on the layout. So right now I have just taken, I like the silver with this coloured scheme rather than the gold, so I've taken off the gold thread from the tassel and tied some silver thread around the top. I've removed the jump ring too, don't need that. So I've now just stuck that in place to the right of my rainbow. And now I'm just going through and figuring out what ephemera I can use. I wanted to include some more bits and pieces. I love this exclusive ephemera by Hip Kit Club. It's got some really gorgeous pieces in it. I love the colours. I love the way that it all looks. And I'm cutting out a word May from the May Pocket Life kit. It was on one of the journaling cards. I think I'd used the rest of the journaling card for something else, but on this occasion I wanted to use the word May. The date of my photo is May basically, so it's really so pretty, those three colours of alphabet plus the sprayer flowers underneath. It was too pretty not to use, so I've put that at the bottom right hand side of my layout. So I'm now just carrying on building up the embellishments there. More and more of the ephemera. This is a rainy day photo, as you can see. We have umbrellas, and they're still smiling, which is lovely. At the moment in the UK, it just won't stop raining. This week has been terrible. It's rained literally all day, every day. And this is actually a photo back from May, but this week in June has been terrible too, and it's not been great weather ever since that photo was taken, really. So but hey, you know, we have fun in the rain, we splash in the puddles, we get to use the umbrellas, so yeah, they are still smiling even though it's been chucking it down with rain now for weeks. I just wanted to document our rainy weather here in the UK. And I say they love their umbrellas, so it's actually quite exciting for them to use their umbrellas as an opportunity to get them out and bash each other with them half the time. Right, so anyway, back to this layout. I am just going through and adding bits and pieces. There's so much in these fabulous hip kits that I spoil for choice. I've got so much to use. So I'm currently making up one of the bows, fabric bows that are exclusive in this month's kits, and I've just stuck that underneath my out chasing rainbows, making sure that it won't get covered up or be in the way for when I move my piece of ephemera. There we go, it's okay just about, and now it's got stuck and then it's come off again. Oh dear, what a disaster. So I have to quickly repair that. I've also put the time underneath, 7 AM. It's definitely not 7 AM at the time this photo was taken, but it is first thing in the morning. We always struggle to get out in the mornings. We don't ever seem to be on time. We're always running a bit late. So the 7 o'clock alarm clock made me chuckle and made me think of our crazy mornings here. And also I've put the radio that kind of reminds me of an alarm clock over to the right hand side. You know, again, it's the time, or it reminds me of mornings. So this was that kind of, they all went together kind of thing. Okay, so I'm just trying to find a home for some word stickers. I've got pulled out life is good, no drama, this is real life, and it's all right, because all of those go perfectly with rainy day photos. So I'm just finding a place for those. So I've got a few clustered under my photos and one at the top there on the top of the journaling card. I like the top of the journaling card because it's white and the background is quite white. It's not, it is a pattern paper background, but it's quite white still. So the top of the journaling card kind of got lost against the background. So adding that darker strip at the top there was really good. It kind of gives it an edge. And then I've also cut one of these transparent stickers as well, and I've tucked that underneath just to again give it a bit more of an edge. It just makes the top of the journaling card a little bit more obvious. I've added the title Shine. I change that a bit later on and add some more words, so that star is actually in the way, so I just have to move that. I'm adding some big drips of the Lindy's in the blue, the denim colour. It's a really lovely colour. It's very dark and intense, so I did a tiny bit of powder and quite a lot of water in order to get lighter coloured drips. So I've just added those to the left and the right of my layout, plus at the top as well, kind of extending my spray at the top of the layout up to the top of the top edge of the layout. So I'm just handwriting in my journaling right now, which is just about rainy days and how happy they still are even though it's chucking it down with rain. Oh, and look, there's my rainbow moving again. So I'll never get bored of it, I don't think. So I'm just adding in another bit of tangled thread. I've only got one under my rainbow out chasing rainbows phrase at the moment, so I felt like I needed another one, so I've put that in to the bottom left of my photo, and I've just got the tangles coming out. Here's when I decided to add in some extra words. So I decided to go for rain or shine for my title, because they are happy come rain or shine. So it was a genius moment that I thought of a bit too late, but if I did anyway, so I added it in. So I loved I didn't want to use the blue alphas. I thought that would be too dark at the top of the page there, so I pulled through the light pink ones. They get slightly lost on the background because it's got splatters on it and it's got rainbows, so I've just drawn around it with a grey pen, not a black one, a grey one. to just lift it a little bit without it being overly bold, because I didn't want a bold title, I wanted a subtle one, but of course I do still need it to be seen. And then I've stitched through those 3 words with black thread on my sewing machine, and that is me done. I'm going to call that done at that point. So finally going to leave this alone. This layout's taken me so long to make, you have no idea. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my process and my troubles getting there, but yeah, thank you so much for joining me. That was Niki Rowland for Hip Kit Club. Happy scrapping!